Okay, um, it is my pleasure to welcome Francois Martelet, CEO of Oasmia Pharmaceuticals. Please
Morning.
tell us more about your company.
Thank you, and always a pleasure to be here today. Can I have my first slides, please? Okay, so this is a forward-looking statement that, of course, we will not ask you to read. So we've been reflecting a lot internally on our vision. So where do we want to be, in a couple of years from now? And clearly, we want to build a Swedish oncology powerhouse focused on how to treat cancer. Now, how do we achieve that? Because obviously, a vision without a strong plan is no less than a dream. So the way to achieve that is to build a diversified pipeline focused on hard to treat and late-stage cancer using different mechanisms of actions. And why do we say diversified? Because we believe that, we are not, and we do not want to be a one-trick pony. We want to have a number of compounds in our pipeline because we know the attrition rate in the industry. Therefore, this is a way to de-risk the company. Focus on how to treat and late-stage cancer because we want to basically, offer the possibility to our patients, to patients in cancer, to get most of the treatment available. And using different mechanism of actions, because of course in oncology you not only have small molecule, antibodies and so on. You have a diversity, you have a wide range of mechanism of actions. And again, this is the way to de-risk the portfolio of the company. Right, what has been done since I joined the company about 18 months ago? I mean, clearly, we have been doing quite a lot. We have really transformed the company. First of all, we have right-sized the company, and we have stopped the commercial drug production. That did not make any sense. That was not our business model, and therefore, we are now a lean and mean organization with around 20 people. Two, we have put our finance in order. That means we have been able to reduce very significantly our burn rate and also to make some savings, and I will come back to that with regard to the amount. Even more importantly, we've been able to build in-house capabilities. That means, hire senior level people who have experience in the industry and also obviously work with partners that have this kind of level of capability. Why? Because we want to be more attractive as a partner in oncology. And finally, we've been able to reduce business risk. I have inherited of a number of legal issues that have now been sorted out. So therefore, the company is totally clean from a liability perspective. Right, so on this slide, you see that we are well positioned for the next phase in execution. So building a Swedish oncology powerhouse. How do we do that? Well, we have a strategy, and this is the string of pearls strategy. That means adding a number of compounds to our pipeline. And we have already implemented that successfully. We have a compound called Cantrixil that we have been able to license in from a small company in Australia called Oasmia Therapeutics. We want to have multiple shots on goal with a broader mechanism of action, targeting, yes, a number of tumor types. Why do we want to have multiple shots on goals? Because, again, of the risk linked to the development. So we want to de-risk, therefore, we will look, for instance, with Cantrixil at a number of other indications, not only the indication in which we are working, which is ovarian cancer. And then finally, if you want to build a Swedish oncology powerhouse, you need to expand your investor base. Of course, you need to have institutions in Sweden, at the Nordic level, and also in Europe. And I have to say that we have embarked on that path as well. Good. Areas of focus. So we have fundamentally at Oasmia two business lines. We have, first of all, an oncology research and development line. We have Cantrixil, docetaxel micellar, and looking at other compounds to be added to our portfolio. So this is the research and development line. And then we have what I call the commercial line, which is the commercialization of our assets, Apealea, that is approved in Europe for ovarian cancer, that has been licensed out to Elevar Therapeutics, which is a company based in the US, for commercialization in Europe and down the road in the US. At the same time, we are looking at partnering for our animal health assets, since we are not a company focused on animal health, and also of our technology as well. So this is the two lines of our business that we have. And on the commercial side, of course, we will be counting on helping our cash situation by getting revenues from this deal with Elevar Therapeutics. Right, recent achievement and milestone. This is a small size slide. I do apologize, but let me tell you that with regard to building our capabilities, we have appointed recently Head of Clinical Development and Regulatory Affairs, because again, we don't want to be a virtual company. We want to be, and we are actually a pharmaceutical company with all the functions internally. We are small, but still we have all the capabilities internally. With regard to Apealea, certainly we have been able to license out in Russia and in CIS for commercialization purposes to a new company called Pharmamondo. And this is the last step of the, let's say, commercialization of Apealea for the whole product, basically. And I'm pleased to say that Inceptua is the partner of Elevar in Europe, and Inceptua will be planning to launch Apealea in Germany and the UK initially, followed by Spain and Italy next year. And on that note, I would like to emphasize that in our sector, how many companies, do have a product that is being launched next year? Not so many, actually. Not so many. So, and Elevar is reviewing the best regulatory path for the compound, for the product in the US. Driving our pipeline of therapies for hard-to-treat cancer, I mentioned Cantrixil. We are working on the phase 2 preparation, and I will come back to that in a minute. Docetaxel micellar, phase 1, that is run by a Swiss cancer research group, and is totally on track. Therefore, we expect the completion of the phase 1 by the end of next year. And we have an agreement with Karolinska Institute from a research standpoint in order to better understand XR17, which is our technology platform, and also how can we make the most of it. Business development activities and licensing in activities. I mean, clearly, we have, since I joined the company, we have looked at 8 either small companies, publicly listed or private, and or assets to licensing. And of course, you will ask me, yeah, but what is the result of that? Well, it's important to have the right fit from a scientific and also from a financial perspective. So, but we are confident that we will be able down the road to materialize that. Reducing business risk, as I mentioned before, that was the achievement of the last quarter. We don't have any liabilities anymore, so this is an important aspect for our investors as well. Right, comprehensive in-house capabilities are in place. We have an emerging pipeline. We have added regulatory skills and capabilities, clinical as well, product development, business development as well. So the last piece is to build a multi mechanism of action portfolio. Right. New team to deliver success. We have completely revamped the whole management team over the last year. And we have, for instance, our Chief Scientific Officer, Dr. Reinhard Koenig, in the US. So he's our eyes and ears in the US. This is an important aspect as well. And you can see the recent add-on, from a clinical development perspective and regulatory. And we will continue to hire, top-level people. I have to say that also, not on this slide, but we have very high-level scientists, not so many, but in Uppsala. The team remains in Solna, but the lab is in Uppsala, in which we have a lot of competencies from a scientific perspective. Right, string of pearl approach to build a critical mass. Our sweet spot is in development from preclinical up to phase 2B, potentially also phase 3, potentially as well we could market a number of drugs in a small indications in how to treat cancer. But clearly the main priority is from preclinical to phase 2. And why? Because we believe that after phase 2 you create value, and therefore you decrease the level of risk, and then it's the time to partner with a big pharmaceutical company, for instance, to develop it further. Right, Cantrixil. So Cantrixil is a small molecule with a very potent cytotoxicity profile against CD44 ovarian cancer stem cell. And that drug can also be potentially applied to other cancer. So Cantrixil, although it seems to be a small product, in a small indication, this is not the case. This is a pipeline within the molecule. We could potentially develop it further in some other indication. We have an orphan drug designation in the US for this drug. That was the achievement of the previous company. Why is it important? Because potentially it may lead to an accelerated approval of the drug in the US. So that's very important. What are we doing now? Well, we had our clinical advisory board. We did set up. We had a number of recommendations from them, from the board member. And we will be initiating interaction with the FDA, with the European authorities to validate our phase 2 trial design. And then we are working on the drug supply. And this is quite a complex case, because the drug does require a number of manufacturers to be completed. From drug substance to drug production, you need a couple of manufacturers. And of course, we want to simplify that, and we want to make it quicker. But at the same time, there are a number of time frames that are not reducible, let's say. Right. So docetaxel micellar, this is a product that is, docetaxel is approved. It's called Taxotere. It's a major product in the oncology arena. And docetaxel micellar is an improved version of, an improved formulation of docetaxel. And we've been approached by the Swiss Cancer Research Group to perform a phase 1B in prostate cancer, which is obviously a major area that is studied now, given the incidence rate. And we have a couple of Swiss centers open. The enrollment is on track. And as I said earlier, we expect to complete the phase 1B by the end of 22. Research with Karolinska Institute. Yes, we want to understand better our platform. What can we use our platform? How can we potentially improve it as well? And that's important in terms of cytotoxicity. So we want to work on the cellular systems. So what can we learn from that research for ovarian cancer? And this project is in several phases. The step 1 is now nearly completion. And I will be able to communicate that to you as well as soon as it is ready. Right, Apilia. So commercialization of our drugs in Europe, as I said, will start next year. Okay, first launch UK and Germany, followed by Italy and Spain. Inceptua is really the best partner we can find, that Elevar could find. This is a successful privately held company specialized on hospital products. And Pharmamondo will be commercializing in Russia and CIS. I mentioned here the worldwide peak sales. So this is not company guidance. Let's be very clear. Around 300 million US dollars on a worldwide scale, so including the US as well. But this is the estimation from a number of analysts with whom we are working. And so again, we are extremely pleased that Inceptua will launch next year. Certainly, there was some delay, and I certainly accept some worries about that. But 2022 will be the year of success of Oasmia with Apilia in Europe. The growing market in oncology, I mean, there is, for those of you who do not know exactly this market, it's a growing market, unfortunately, and we want to be part of it, And we mentioned here the compound annual growth rate, it's 14%, double digit, and certainly targeted therapy is an important market for oncology. Adding new oncology program with cutting-edge science. Yes, we want to be at the forefront of the scientific side. And so that's the reason why I mentioned here antibodies, oncology, viruses, gene therapy. We want to be a player in this field as well by getting those molecules in our pipeline. Creating value is important. So again, at Oasmia, as I said earlier, our sweet spot is from phase 1B, let's say, to phase 2B, phase 3. At one point, once we have created value through a phase 2B successful, then we will ask ourselves, what do we do? Do we partner on our own, or do we stay, or do we commercialize with a partner? So two ways to think about that. Collaboration are very important, but clearly the value is built by having a successful phase 2, phase 3 as well. This is our emerging pipeline. So you see it needs some new additions. But I would like to mention Cantrixil IV. You know that Cantrixil, this is a product that is in phase 1, now moving into phase 2. Its IP means intraperitoneal. So for very sick patients, you have an IP administration. And of course, it is not always very convenient. And this is for late-stage cancer patients. So we want to develop a better formulation, an IV formulation, using our technology platform. And this is really something that I haven't said before. So we have initiated the first steps of the preclinical study of Cantrixil in an IV formulation. So this is an important aspect as well. Right, Q3 results. I think time is pressing now. We've been able to record sales the last quarter because we shipped our drug to Elevar for clinical research purposes. We've been able to continuously reduce the burn rate. We have now a burn rate at around 9 million SEK per month, which is an important aspect, and cash equivalent is around 150 million SEK at the end of the quarter. So this is what we have. At Oasmia, we pay a lot of attention to ESG, environmental, social governance plan. And we have done that plan, and with a focus on good governance and strong business ethics. And as I said earlier, we have cleaned the plate, no more liabilities. Now we can build further and implement this ESG plan, which is an important aspect nowadays, even in the biotechnology sector. Right, so business, building a global oncology business in 2022, what can you expect from Oasmia? Well, you can expect us to continue, obviously, our M&A activities and licensing in activities to build a critical mass in the sector. We will be preparing the initiation of the phase 2 in 2022 for Cantrixil, completion of the phase 1b for docetaxel micellar, improvement potentially of our platform through the program with Karolinska, and also obviously, you know, getting royalties and milestones from the deal that we have with Elevar that will help our cash position next year, and also divestment or partnering agreement for our animal health business. So to sum up, you know, this presentation, we believe that this is a great opportunity to create a Swedish oncology powerhouse, focus on hard to treat and late stage cancer. We have a number of capabilities in place to build that pipeline. The string of pearls strategy is exactly designed to do that. Multiple shots on goals, strong platform. And we believe that it's time for Oasmia to attract institutions, institutional investors, not only in Sweden, but also in Europe and potentially in the US as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Francois, for this introduction to your company. So, looking at your slides and the possibilities for Apalea next year in Europe, could you please tell us a little bit more about the regulatory status in Europe for the product?
Well, it's approved. It's approved. It will be launched. And Inceptua is the company that will launch Apilia in Europe, as I said, starting with Germany and in the UK, followed towards the end of 2022 by Spain and Italy. There will be also other milestones linked to the approval. I'm thinking about Switzerland as well. But clearly the product will be launched in Europe, and this is quite rare in our industry to have a true product approved. You know. Now in the US, this is in the area of Elevar, and Elevar is reviewing the plan. Elevar wants to get an approval, let's say, or a blessing from the FDA before communicating its final plan. So this is where do they stand at the present time.
And broadly speaking, would you be able to split the sales potential in different markets? How much of this value is based in Europe?
Yeah, we don't give any company guidance on this because obviously it doesn't depend on us, it depends on our partner. So, but we will be working with the partner of Elevar, Inceptua, on that, and you know, I'm sure that there will be some communication around that at the right time. Absolutely.
And the terms of the agreement, I understand that Elevar Therapeutics sub-licensed it to Inceptua. And the terms of the agreement with Elevar, have you disclosed them as well?
Yeah, no, they're not disclosable. I mean, this is an agreement with Elevar and Oasmia.
But it's based on royalties, milestones?
Based on royalties and milestones, absolutely. And so approval in a geography and approval with a new indication potentially as well. Yes.
And there has been no potential milestone numbers discussed from your part?
We are not disclosing anything which relates to that, you know.
Okay. So, and the cash position you show to us, that should take you well into next year, possibly beyond, or are you?
Yeah, we are still in a strong cash position, and obviously, you know, as a CEO of a biotech company, we continuously revising our financial strategy. So, and we will communicate to the market at one point, you know, what our plans are for beyond next year.
Okay. So there is a question from the web on the screen down here, and it's more specifically, asking for any possible sales to be incurred in the first half of 22?
Well, the answer is yes. So we are still aiming at that, absolutely. And Inceptua is committed to launch during H1, yes, 2022. Yes.
And that is in Germany?
And that's in Germany and in the UK.
Could you help us have a better picture of Inceptua? What is it a marketing company? Which are the currently market products?
It is a privately held company specialized for hospital and niche products based in Europe. So they have all the capabilities to be able to launch successfully Apilia in Europe. I know that they are planning to hire key account manager for country by country, and also what we call medical scientific liaison officers, you know, more on the scientific side. You don't need to have a huge field force. You need to have specialized people, you know, per country, you know, 3 or 4 working on the launch, and that's I'm sure that will be a great success. Yes.
But paclitaxel is already sold in this indication.
Yeah, paclitaxel is called Taxol.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a widely used drug that has become generic, and we have Apilia, a new formulation, better formulation. We use less corticoids with Apilia. Okay, it's a chemophore free, so less side effect as well. So that's important, you know. Those patients they don't want to have a neuropathy, you know. They have issues with their hands, you know, the muscles. So we have the luxury to have a product approved in Europe with less side effect and a better safety profile as well.
And this is all disclosed in a product certificate.
Yeah, it is absolutely disclosed in the product specification. Yes.
Okay. So I think that rounds up the presentation for this time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.